Yeah, so AppLovin is under siege after some revelations about how they actually do business. But, you know, I'm not sure. I think this might be worth, you know, buying for a bounce. I mean, you got fairly ugly at 315. It looks like a ton of volume came in at 328, 329, 330. This is like right at the open. I guess that's where the volume is, right? And it's faded from there. So it's probably going to get a little ugly before it gets better, but yeah, it's probably a short for like $5 right now. It's been a falling knife for a little while. There have been multiple short reports. Here's what a chart looks like, basically wiping out all 2025 gains. We've seen a lot of charts like this, similar. Palantir somewhat similar, you know. This is let's see, a 6-month chart here. Yeah, it's pretty rare to see charts like that. You know, pretty huge mean reversion. So yeah, the two big earnings numbers from AppLovin both have faded dramatically as folks think that maybe their secret sauce, how they do all this growth, is manipulative, crazy, ugly advertising stuff. Some of which is fairly common on the internet, but I don't like how any of these companies make the sausage, to be honest. It's frustrating. Oh, okay. AppLovin is halted for vol, which makes sense. Big story today is AppLovin. What will happen here? Shorts are sort of in control. The stock's been pummeled for days. Short report, you know, on a vulnerable kind of momentum stock, you know, usually knock the shares down. Stock is unhalted now. Hard to believe that people who know the stock would be surprised by this. You know, so that's kind of one framework to look at. We'll look at the income statement and stuff like that in a second. All right, so where's AppLovin now? 310. So could we make the argument AppLovin is cheap? Let's see. It's 100 billion, so it's gotta be more. It's gotta be pretty substantive. Well, shit, they made 500 million in net income. Is cash flow number right? 2 billion in cash flow. Yeah. Yeah, dander is what cats spread that's allergic. Dandruff is what you have. I have two. A little edgy content there for you guys. All right, let's figure out if AppLovin's worth the trade here, and when will the shorts have to relent? I think you know, one of the things about these short reports is they tend to be sort of broadcast beforehand. You might call you might want to get on Steve Cohen's good side or whatever, or Dan Loeb, or pick your hedge fund manager, and you might say, well, Dan, I'm putting out a short report in the next few days on AppLovin. And so a lot of guys are short into this, and they kind of just might cover since they, have sort of made their money. It's a dirty game, hedge funds, as you can imagine. That's what we do. It's how we make a living, okay? Don't judge us. Brady is hilarious. He's solid. Agree. Jensen, very solid. No. Looks maxing is the different generation, man.
Order filled.
Okay, I'm long AppLovin. Let's see how this shit goes. A little bit of a YOLO. They're super profitable. It costs almost nothing to run their company. They don't have CapEx. Incredible. Incredible. A money printer. Yeah, look at their CapEx. $180,000. They bought an office fridge. It's CapEx, damn it. Meta Platforms. Hi guys, it's Mark. Meta Platforms had an excellent quarter. We're connecting the world, and Facebook reached more users than ever. Last quarter, revenue growth eclipsed 30% as we grow the metaverse, grow revenue, and grow my net worth. I just, when I buy these things for an intraday trade, I'm trying to make 5% and get out. I'm just trying to get a quick nut. Wait, did I say that out loud? You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Just trying to get a quick, Yeah, my voice is a little weird today, so I can't go full Zuck. And I haven't listened to a Facebook conference call in a while, but yeah, he's pretty easy. Okay, so yeah, okay, so basically this is interesting. Again, if you completely abstract what the company's doing or what they do, which, I don't recommend exactly. Trying to get a sense for the right way to look at this. Yeah, I think I figured out the right way to look at this. Okay.
Order filled.
Alright. Market's turning down a little bit. Might buy a little more AppLovin, but It is making like fresh lows, so I just want to be a little careful.
Order filled. Order partially filled. Order filled.
What the fuck is this? Excuse me, what the fuck is this? Okay. They started putting the financials in the press release like a real company. I hate all these companies that are putting it in their fucking shareholder letter. What the hell is a shareholder letter? Are you a pen pal? We pen pals, bitch? Shareholder letter? What the fuck is a shareholder letter? Okay, so here's the way I look at this. $2023 revenue was 2023 revenue was 3.3 billion, and then it went up to 4.7 billion, which is a 43% increase. But cash flow grew from 1.1 billion, pretty high margin by the way, to 2.1 billion, which was a 100% increase. So valuing it on TTM cash flow doesn't seem like that makes too much sense, given, you probably want to value things in forward cash flow. But they have Q1 guidance, which I put down here. They didn't give 2015 guidance, but I think we can kind of extrapolate. They guided to 31% growth, which is, a little bit disappointing. So let's just assume that they grow at that rate for the rest of the year. Maybe even conservatively, let's assume the rate continues to slow. Okay, so then 2025 revenue growth would be 6.1 billion. I think there's a lot to do in this ad tech space. I mean, a lot of ad money gets spent, and I'm not sure people really understand sort of how that's happening. All right, cash flow from operations margin. So the point is people can make tools around this space and probably do pretty well. All right, so they had 45% of their revenue translated to cash flow. Last year was 32%. It's obviously going to sort of go up if they do grow this fast. So maybe let's say it's going to be 50%. So that's 3 billion in free cash flow or cash flow. And you're now paying 43 times for a pretty strong grower. So that's sort of the valuation backdrop. The trade. Oh, they did guide? When did they guide? On the conference call? It only says the Q1 in the Q1 press release. They only have guidance for Q1. It'd be weird if they had guidance somewhere else. I'm not saying I don't believe you. It's just like, I think I did. I put 380. It's 295 now. God damn. It's dropping quick. All right, I'll probably take my last bite before I call it a stop loss. Okay, so yeah, so roughly 34 times earnings, next year's earnings for like kind of a hyper grower that is got extremely high margins. I think that, the one sort of truism that you can sort of count on is, yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that. The one truism you can kind of count on is their customers aren't paying them by accident, right? Their customers are paying them and they're getting results. So I don't think that they're abusing their customers. They may be abusing internet users. I'm not sure they don't have a moat. I'm not sure how serious these allegations are. Like, what do you think the most serious allegation that was made is? Well, I mean, there's a lot of panic. It's a momentum stock, and there's a short report and it's in free fall, but I don't think I think it's kind of be a nothing burger. Well, what does that mean, steal data from Meta? I think that's kind of the one question. And like, they hired a bunch of ex-Meta people. This is like that, when Trump was like, that makes me smart. I don't pay taxes.
A lot of you don't understand why Trump was so popular. And the reason he's loved is because people in Ohio have never seen somebody like him. That first debate, I'd never seen anything like it. I've never seen a white male billionaire screaming at the top of his lungs, this whole system is rigged. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama sitting over there looking at him like, no, it's not. And the moderator said, well, Mr. Trump, if in fact the system is rigged, what would be your evidence? He said, I know the system is rigged because I use it. I said, God damn. And then Hillary Clinton tried to punch him in the taxes. She said, this man doesn't pay his taxes. He shot right back. That makes me smart. And then he said, if you want me to pay my taxes, then change the tax code. But I know you won't, because your friends and your donors enjoy the same tax breaks that I do. And with that, my friends, the star was born.
So yeah, so I think, I don't know too much about BBAI, so take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, so in the ad tech game, like, I think that's the dynamic where I'm talking to a data vendor and it's obvious that what they're doing is not permitted by terms of service. But that is the game in data. Did you see Cambridge Analytica? Like, this is literally how the game is played. So, the fact that, they're doing it instead of like a smart company doing it in-house, like, they're doing it for you. Oh, I don't know that I don't, so I wouldn't think about it that way, TM. This situation is far too volatile to even worry about what's AppLovin going to be worth many years from now. For companies like this, like, they basically have to survive Like they have to figure out a transition to a business model that's sort of stable. And, you know, what's being alleged is that the business model they're deploying is not sustainable. It's not stable. It's built on cheating and things like this. So if that's the case, you know, it's this question is a lot less about what's the valuation worth and much more about what are they going to do to sort of stabilize. I mean, if you look at what we just did mathematically, you're talking about $1 billion, $2 billion, and then $3 billion in cash flow. There's no company on planet Earth that wouldn't like that. 1 billion, then 2 billion, then 3 billion. What great results is that? So I think that, and I'm being a little bit conservative, like they could probably get to 55% margins or something like that. But regardless, if you have a $3 billion cash flow base and that's growing like at all, especially if it's growing fast, like in this case, it's growing 50% year over year. I mean, it doesn't take much for that to be worth quite a lot. I mean, it's not going to compound at a rate like this, but let's say it did 10% per annum. What we could do is, I don't know, give it a 20 times multiple. Try something weird here. And then do present value, which we usually do NPV, but let's do present value. 11, let's do, 11% is fine. This is 1 year from now, 0 minus this. Okay. Or it's actually minus this guy. Okay. So you kind of see how the power of compounding will unfold here. Let's see, what is this? 5 years from now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. It's 9 years from now. Well, this isn't going to grow because if we're, let me see, let me do it differently. Let me try 20%. Yeah, so you can see the compounding effect starts to take hold, and by the time you like even 15 years out, which isn't much, you're at a 200 billion market cap, which they were recently. But by the time you're 20 years out, you're at a 300 billion present value and a 2 trillion future value. So, you know, that kind of growth is like, it's worth a lot. And, you know, they're growing revenue at 44%. Forget cash flow. You know, cash flow's going to grow faster than that. So I think, you know, it's not even worth looking at the net present value. I mean, it's always worth sort of, you know, playing around with it, but like, I don't even think we need to. All right, so